Take a look at this chart comparing effective tax rates. On the left, a middle-class family making $60,000 a year hands over a significant chunk of their earnings to the government. On the right, a billionaire pays an effective tax rate close to zero. Most of us are taught a very specific path to building financial security. You go to work, earn a paycheck, and lose a large percentage to income tax, Social Security, Medicare, and state taxes. Whatever survives that gauntlet goes into your savings. The ultra-wealthy bypass that entire sequence using a completely legal, century-old strategy. It relies on a framework so simple, tax experts break it down into 3 specific words: buy, borrow, die. High net worth investors skip the standard deductions altogether. They operate an inverted financial system designed from the ground up to avoid generating a single dollar of taxable income. Let's see exactly how this works by looking at an investor named Maria. She just sold a business and walked away with a $1 million windfall. Maria enters phase 1, buy. Instead of treating that money as personal income, she immediately parks it into appreciating assets like stocks, real estate, or private businesses. At 7%, her $1 million doubles to $2 million over a decade. The IRS calls this extra million an unrealized gain. Without selling, the growth is tax-free. But selling to access cash triggers a capital gains tax, costing her $250,000. The standard tax system forces earners into a trap. You either hoard your investments untouched forever, or you surrender a quarter of your profits to the IRS just to access your own money. Maria avoids the trap by moving to phase 2, borrow. Instead of selling a single share, she goes to a bank and takes out a loan, using her portfolio as collateral. This works because of a basic rule in the U.S. tax code. Borrowed money is not classified as income. Therefore, it cannot be taxed. Her $2 million portfolio stays invested, while she accesses a $1.4 million credit line. The loan costs $91,000 in interest annually. However, her portfolio's 8% growth generates $160,000. This leaves a net positive gain of $69,000 a year. She secures immediate access to the cash she needs to fund her lifestyle, while her underlying wealth stays fully invested and continues to compound. For investors operating at this level, debt acts as a highly efficient mathematical engine used specifically to shield cash flow from the IRS. That sounds great for a few years, but those loans don't disappear. Eventually, the bank is going to want its money back. That brings us to phase 3, die. Let's fast forward a few decades to the end of Maria's life. Decades later, her portfolio reaches $8 million, still carrying outstanding loans against it. Here, a tax provision called the step-up in basis kicks in. Her heirs inherit the assets at current market value, legally wiping out all historical growth for tax purposes. Her family can now sell enough of those assets completely tax-free to pay off the original bank loans and keep the remaining millions for themselves. Maria spent decades living on tax-free cash, passed a multi-million-dollar fortune down to the next generation, and kept her lifetime tax rate essentially at zero. When you scale Maria's strategy up to the national level, it reframes the entire debate around taxing the wealthy. Politicians argue endlessly over raising or lowering the top income tax bracket by a few percentage points. Those proposals miss the exact mechanism the ultra-wealthy actually use. The government simply cannot tax wealth that is never recognized as income. If you rely entirely on a paycheck, your earnings are penalized at every single step before the money ever hits your bank account. If you hold appreciating assets, the system protects your growth and actively encourages compounding. The point here isn't to try and secure a massive line of credit from a bank tomorrow. The goal is to change how you measure your own financial progress. Earning a high salary is helpful, but it shouldn't be the final metric for your financial success. To genuinely build and preserve wealth, you have to transition from being an earner to being an owner. That means stopping the endless chase for taxable income and focusing on acquiring assets that you can hold